Hi guys, 14th Prime here, back with the last video that you guys will hear my voice in for this year. And so, of course, this is one of the lists that I do at the end of the year, and every year I usually change it up a little bit. And so this time I'm doing the top 21 of 2021. And so, normally I usually split up, I'll split up Hasbro stuff and third party and all that, just because I've always felt you can't really compare the two. But then this year I was like, I'll make a big list. So this is one big list of pretty much everything, which pretty much the main rules is A, of course, is all based on my opinion of the stuff that I got. B, it's not just limited to things that came out this year. Like if I just had to have bought it this year. Like I had to buy it and it comes in this year, and that's how it counts. And also I had to do it before a week ago whenever I made the list. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the rules. So anyways, let's go ahead and get on with this list with the number 21, which is technically cheap because it's 2, but I don't care. Number 21, BotShot, Superbot, Jazz, and Skywarp. Now, I don't talk about them much. I think I might have reviewed it. I don't know. I did a sort of BotShots-ish custom, loosely based. I think I did it was the Skyquake. I don't know if I reviewed it. I might not have. I can't think of it, but anyways, I love BotShots a lot. In terms of things, the whole collecting Transformers thing, this was the most fun I've ever had collecting anything. And so I kind of have a goal of finding them all. And I still remember way back in 2013, whenever these two were shown online, they were gonna happen, and I was super excited for it because Jazz is one of my 2 favorite Transformers, and Skywarp is my favorite Seeker. But then being freaking devastated finding out they were canceled. Until this year, whenever... Actually, no, I phrased that. I knew Superbot Jazz was made, but I could never really get one. So after spending a weird amount of money, that I do not feel like disclosing at this time, I bought the 3-pack he was in, and now he is in my house, and I love him. And then Skywarp, who I legitimately thought did not get made, found out did, and I had a friend in Singapore who helped me get him, and a couple others here and there, which you know who you are. Thank you, my man. Really appreciate it. But yeah, just I'm just kind of in shock to have them in my house. We got Jazz here. It was entirely clear because that's the whole Superbot thing. His feet, yeah, there's a bit of paint on my hands, sorry. I was working on a future custom review. Feet, thank you. It's a totally clear Jazz, which is neat. I like it. And then Skywarp, I really like how he looks, honestly. I think between the two, I much prefer Skywarp's design, especially the jet mode, which sort of looks like... It actually looks like if they turned the launcher that Starscream comes with into a jet, this is what it would be. It just kind of vaguely reminds me of it, which I do really like. And of course, you just do that, and there you go. But yeah, I just kind of can't believe they're in my house. They're in my hands. I have them. And one day I want to do a big video on BotShots. I still need one or 2 more here and there. The main one that comes to mind is the BotShots Inferno, which is the yellow fire truck one. But yeah, that's it for number 21. And then for number 20 we have Galaxy Force Starscream, which bring the camera up because he is a bit tall. Now, I fully understand this figure is not all that great. I know. I'm fully aware. But I just really like it for some reason. I don't know. I bought it whenever I rewatched Transformers Cybertron earlier this year. And so I bought a couple Cybertron figures, and I surprisingly found him with the box for fairly cheap. It was $40. Which I know doesn't sound fairly cheap, but just compared to how much this thing usually goes for, it's not that bad. But I mean, I just kind of like having it. I really do like the mold. Of course, I have this one. I have Shattered Glass Starscream. And then I have the custom Skywarp that you guys, presumably saw the review or just the last video. Yeah, I just really like it. I think it's neat. I really hope Legacy, I know they're giving us Armada Starscream, or at least that's a rumor that they're doing, and I really hope they give us a Cybertron one too, because I'd love to get a new one. Especially, they can do another Shattered Glass Starscream, but it's not like they want to release the one that they already made in America for some reason. Anyway, no, we're not bringing it up. 2 videos in a row. I'm sorry. But yeah, I just really like this figure. If you can get like a version of the mold just to try out, it's fun. I like it. But you gotta kind of be into it because it is a bit more gimmicky. But I still have a blast with it personally. But yeah, that was number 20, the Galaxy Full Starscream. And then number 19, we have KFC Surgeon. Now I got this, I think pretty early on in the year actually. I think it was like the first quarter of the year. I got like this one, Blaster, and the Black Perceptor for like about $90, like with the boxes and all, which is pretty great. And so this is obviously the KFC Perceptor mold, but it's made to look like like a Generations version of Revenge of the Fallen Scalpel, which is just the kookiest thing that I've probably bought all year. And I kind of love it for that. Though I can say it was a bit underpainted whenever I got it. Like the brow and the silver was not there, so it looked pretty bare bones. So I painted those in, and just I really like all the little claw details here that I'm terrified to move. These freaking guns that are just like needles. It's just neat. It's just weird and dumb, and I love it. That's I think that's just it. It's weird and dumb, and I love it. Like, shoot, I can just wrap that up with this whole video. That's the statement. We're done. But yeah, I really like it. If you can find one of these guys for about $20-$30, I'd say totally go for it, just because it's dumb and I like it. Just because, I don't know, it's also neat just to have like more Decepticon medics, because you really don't get those outside of, I guess, Knockout, which is also supposedly getting a toy in Legacy that we've kind of already seen in the Wreckers comic, but okay. But it's just kind of neat to have another Decepticon medic as well, even though he's a crazed, mad individual. But yeah, that was number 19. This is number 18, if I can grab him. I'm slightly too far away. Number 18 is GDO Ironhide. Look at that split. Look at that. Wait. Just bang. He's shimmying. It's like the RoboSen Prime when he turns around. Anyway. Number... You get this thing zoomed out. Oh my god. It's huge. Actually move the tripod physically back just a little bit. I'm gonna move my light. Yep. Camera's going everywhere. Yeah, this is number 18, GDO Ironhide. Now, this is a like G1 repaint of Dark of the Moon leader class Ironhide, and I've always really liked G1 repaints and movie toys. I started out the franchise with like the first 2 seasons of G1 and the first Bayformers movie. And while neither one is like my absolute favorite thing ever, mixing them together is one of my absolute favorite things ever. Like Studio Series, can you do these please? Like just do a whole subline. I'd buy every single one, unironically. Even the Sideswipe that I already did, I'd buy another one. Just so I could transform it without fear. But yeah. Of course, you have seen the massive flaw with this figure, which is just kind of the legs. They're really weird and big and don't really pose that well. But I mean, I just love the base toy in general. He's got the freaking flip out guns that are just awesome. I love that gimmick, and like the weapons in here, which mine didn't come with the missile, but I don't care because this figure's so hard to get. The knife, the not arc reactor minigun. He's just fun, and I like it. Again, it's dumb and I like it. And I still really want the Starscream. Any that's like Bot Shots Inferno. Any known whereabouts of that Starscream, tell me. I need it really bad. But yeah, anyways. And then number 17, we have something much smaller. Toy World's Hot Rod. They're from their World War II line. Now I'm gonna be honest, some of the third-party stuff I remember the name, some I don't, and I didn't really look it up. But Toy World is doing a subline I think I mentioned in the last video actually with Incinerator, where it's like World War II based things. And these are all Studio Series scale, which I absolutely love. But I just really do like this figure. He does still have some of that weird typical Toy World jank, which is the best way I can describe it. But it's not nearly as bad as like some other ones here and there that I have even just in the line. I'd say this one still isn't the most user-friendly. I think Barricade is like all around the best one for the average consumer to buy. because the rest of them just have all these weird little quirks, and Barricade's like the easiest one to transform and just handle. But I do really, really like the look of this guy. Like, I think his guns are really cool, his proportions. The fact that it looks so much like the proper, like, the Last Knight Hot Rod, despite just being the World War II vehicle. And even how they did the door wings back here, I think is really cool. It's just very different. Like, I love this line because it's different. It's neat. It's pulling off a look pretty well. And while the quality sometimes is odd, I think overall it's a success. And I very much dread whenever ShowZ tells me that the pre-order for Jetfire comes in, because that's $200. And there you go. He fell down, took his gun out. He don't want to do anything today. Come on, man. Come on, man. Hold your guns. Hold them. Strike that post. There you go. There you go. He's looking at it. Yeah, a bit of his chest came down. You didn't see that. He's looking at it. But yeah, I do really recommend him. But like I said, if you want to get one from the line, probably just get Barricade. Plus the Frenzy in it. While the Frenzy is like the definition of toy world jank, it at least scales with Studio Series, which is neat in case Hasbro just doesn't do it. Yeah. Anyways, number 16 is the first thing on this list that is official that came out this year. Kingdom Tigatron. And well, wrong way. And so Tigatron's always been one of my like favorite characters in Beast Wars. It's like him, Dinobot, and Depth Charge are like my boys. And so of course getting a new toy of him, like, oh my god, here he is. The guy, the man, the myth, the legend. But the major thing that kind of kills this toy for me is this like weird paint. Like, I get it. It's made to be like realistic, but like on a toy it doesn't look good. Especially when it's like a white plastic toy where, you know, these things have a tendency to yellow. And it just kind of makes your toy look like I'm already yellowing. You just got me out of the box and I'm already pre-yellowed. Here we go. So it just kind of looks weird, but honestly, other than that, I cannot deny how much I love this. Like, it fixes a lot of little issues the Cheetor mold had. Things like the paws, for example, they flow with the leg way better. There's like little heel spurs now. In the beast mode, there's like a leg filler that comes out. Not to mention other things, like these flaps are done way better, and there's the actual like hexagonal circles molded in there. The proportions of the arms, like there's no like bit of the cheetah on the arm. And a lot of this other paint is really nice. Like this nice pearlescent white paint that they use on this. It does a lot right. And if it wasn't for that massive glaring issue, he'd probably be a bit higher up on this list. But even so, I can't deny this is one of the best ones in Kingdom. Highly recommend getting it if you can find one. Because, you know, one of those last wave figures, or I guess technically next to last wave. But I have seen Tigatron actually pop around stores here. And I've heard a few other people here and there that he is popping around the States. So hopefully you can find him. Or at least get the orange version, because it also looks nice. And I'm also planning on getting that one just because I like the mold. But yeah. Anyways, that was Kingdom Tigatron. That's number 16. And now number 15 is the Cold KO Shatterglass Optimus Prime. And so, you know, I feel like most people right now are just like, how is this thing so low? The reason why this thing is so low is because the quality on this KO is so low. You saw me putting it down, like this head, Jiggle City, a lot of the limbs and stuff is weird. This paint on the door, it's like you can see through it. It just doesn't look good. Even like these things don't really hold up super well. Like they're pretty loose. A lot of the joints are weird. Like it just like pretty much if it wasn't for the quality of this thing sucking, I'd probably like it way more. But I can't deny the fact that I love just having something close to Shatterglass Prime in this house. Like this isn't one-to-one the one I want. I'm still after the BotCon one every day of the week. But it's nice to have something. Even if this would easily be sold the second I get the BotCon one. But yeah, I do quite like the look of this. And of course it's Classics Prime too, and I love Classics Prime. It's still like my favorite one. It's just great. Like I love this thing. Like, I still think it's fun, even with the flaws, just because I have one. And I think that's what matters to me most. Also, because I got this thing for dirt cheap. It was like 15 bucks and even had the box. Like, it was ridiculously cheap. And you know, to be fair, it's because the quality is not great. But hey, he's in the house. He's on the docket. We did it. Sorry, I had to reach over it. I put my table too far back for getting these guys off. But anyways, number 14, we have the New Age Shattered Glass Megatron. Now, I actually forgot this came out this year. When I was making the list, I was looking back at some of my videos to kind of see like what Legend stuff came out. And I really thought this happened last year for some reason. But no, it was this year, so it gets to be on the list. So, I mean, I pretty much given my full thoughts on this figure in the actual review. But just kind of briefly sum it up. I love the robot mode design. The jet mode's kind of eh. And, like, there's a few little things here and there I wish. Like, I kind of wish the cannon had, like, a sword it could swap out with or something like that. And just kind of... It's mostly minor little issues here and there. And then also the sheer worry about these clear plastic pieces. Because, I don't know, like, some angles it looks like there's a stress mark in there. I know there's some on these, but I don't really worry about these all that much. It's these bits that worry me. Like, right there. That's a big old stress mark. It's not good. Oof. But I mean, I still like this thing. Like, I'm really impressed with all the retooling New Age did with it. And then, you know, this was like one of the first instances where it's like, man, I think this was the figure that solidified, like, man, New Age is doing something here. Like they really went the extra mile to make this closer to being like a Shattered Glass Megatron. And I really, really respect that. And I really like that. Like, they're putting in the extra work. Like, granted, they are just thinking to themselves, how much repaint potential can we get from everything? Because every New Age toy has like 5 repaints. Like that, I think they just revealed a Beachcomber and they showed off a Shattered Glass one, which of course I'm getting, regular one, clear one, and I think like a toy one. And there's probably gonna be a gold one eventually. Like, come on, we know. Oh yeah, and there's a G2 one. There's a G2 one. I don't know if there's like a cartoon and toy one, but I know there's a G2 one. So there's at least 4. There's Shattered Glass. I mean, there's regular, clear, Shattered Glass, G2. Like, there's tons of repaints in New Age toys, but I like the fact that they actually put in the extra effort on this figure to like make it more of its own instead of just a repaint to Galvatron with like a new head to be Shattered Glass Megatron. You know, it's always commendable stuff. And with number 13, I'm just gonna raise the camera before I bring him in because he is also a biggin. Watch it not be enough. Anyways, number 13, if I can get him situated. Here we go. Number 13, Fans Project Bruticus, which of course, it was not enough. Ah! This arm is just refusing. Come on. How much higher can I get the camera? Can I get high enough to see him? Thank you. Which, scale, you can see how big he is. Now, this is actually the first one of the things I actually got from TFCon that ends up on this list, which there will be a few more as we go on. And so this is sort of like the bot shots in the GDO Ironhide in the sense of its wish fulfillment. Like, I was introduced to this as a thing in the old stop motion Transformers Online, if anyone's heard of it. Shout out to anyone that knows, hey. But this is where I was kind of introduced to, like, I guess third party in a way, like Fans Project, like the City Commander, and then this was like, you know, big things in like season 3 of that show. And so I've always kind of wanted one, even though, you know, we have much better Bruticus Bruticuses these days, like MMC one, which I actually saw the G2 colored one at TFCon, and it looks amazing. And the Commando was one, I really like that one, but it was really fun to get this one too. Though I didn't buy all of it at once. I got the sets brand new from a guy there for like $30 each, so I paid $60 for the 2 sets, which is unheard of. And then I spent about $65 going and getting the Brawl, Onslaught, and Vortex. With the Vortex, what's funny is that it's actually the United version of Vortex. So we got the Fans Project, like, Blast Off Swindle, and then Hasbro Brawl and Onslaught, and then United Vortex. So it's a mix mash. But I mean, this set is just really fun. It's what I miss about third party, where they just did creative stuff. Like this whole thing, they just kind of turned they turned like the Energon aesthetic one that they made into like more movie-ish colors, and then they turned it into a more generalized Chug aesthetic. It's nuts. Like, especially some of the stuff they do at Onslaught, it's just nuts. Like the extra guns they give you too, they're just really fun and cool. Like I have them on the back here, like they're really freaking neat. And like, yeah, the figures are kind of dated. Mainly Blastoff, he's super freaking dated. But Swindle is honestly my favorite toy of Swindle ever. Like, if that thing was made into like a modern size deluxe, I would just have that as a standalone Swindle on my shelf, because it's just that good. Like I literally would just take the leg off of the combiner to mess with Swindle, because I had so much fun with him. I could just put him on the list and it probably still would have been fine. But the whole set is pretty fun. Now, I don't really know if I'd say this should be like your definitive Bruticus, because it doesn't really scale with like, you know, Combiner Wars stuff. And of course, like I mentioned, there's better Bruticus, Bruticuses, Bruticai, whatever the plural is. But he's still fun. I paid about 120 total if we add everything up, and I think that was definitely worth it for this whole set. So yeah, let's get him out of the way. He's a big one, so I gotta move really far back. And now I'm gonna bring the camera back down to earth here for number 12, which is Studio Series Dino. Now, I've always been like a big fan of Dino. Like I had the Alien Attack for Raj, and while I did like it, it wasn't the most fun to play with, which is kind of a weird like third party thing I have. Like there are some third party figures I was really thinking would make it to this list, but it just kind of hit me that they're not fun to handle. They look great, but it's just, you can't, they're just kind of like cumbersome, and just they have like their own little quirks and issues that make them not really fun to play with. And so whenever this thing came out, I just really like it. Like I know it isn't the accurate Ferrari, and I know the robot mode isn't the best. Like I'm not really a fan of the fake chests. Not because I don't like fake parts, but it's just because it looks freaking flat. Like I'm impressed by all this compression, but just how flat the chest looks, especially from the front, just kind of disappointing. But like the things like the wing articulation here, like it goes forward and back, up and down. The ankles having that little fun joint here, which I wish it was a proper ankle tilt, but I'll take this to grab something. And even having like the wrist blades, it's just really fun. Like I just love having a Dino I can mess with. So I just really enjoy it. Like I'm really glad. I'm super happy we finally have a proper deluxe Dino that isn't a sideways repaint or some ungodly third party like movie toy, which while those are neat, they're kind of insanity. Especially the MPM ones. But yeah, I'd say totally if you can get this guy for the retail price, go for it. It's worth it. He's a really fun Studio Series figure. Like I kind of hate how limited Studio Series was this year, because Studio Series 86 freaking steamrolled it. But like this was one of the two like Bayformers like new molds we got this year, and I really like it. I like Jolt too, but I decided on Dino just because I like him a little bit more. He's just a bit more it to me, but Jolt's still pretty great. Yeah. And then number 11 we have Kingdom Slammer, which what's funny is that the day I got him is the day I started making this list about 2 or 3 weeks ago, because he's just really fun. I wasn't expecting to enjoy Slammer this much. Like I really figured that Slammer would just be like, he'd still be a fun toy, but it wouldn't really top anything for me, because my favorite G1 mold up until now has been like the Huffer mold, and by extension Pipes and Puffer in them, which I prefer Pipes and Puffer to Huffer just because I don't really like Huffer that much. But Slammer frickin', well, he slammed it, he crushed it, he just like, he chainsaw massacred him to death, and it was just like, I was really blown away, because I already really like the weaponizers, and so this feels like the swan song to the weaponizer gimmick. Because just even the robot alone, like there's so much you can do. Like, you know, the cannon, I really like the heavy placement cannon here. The fact that you can turn the treads into a friggin' chainsaw is just ridiculous. The fact that this toy has like a slight ab crunch, like it isn't a lot, but he has a little bit. But just because this whole joint here, which I don't know what it's really for in the transformation, or by extension this, but I think this whole thing is for like the tower mode to be compatible with Metroplex or something. I don't know. But like he's just a really fun standalone figure. Like if you skipped out on like every other weaponizer, this is the one you should buy. Maybe one day this will end up the subject of a custom review, because I would love to paint this mold, but I just really don't know what I want to do with it. But I just think it's really good. Like everyone should definitely try this again if you can get it, because Hasbro and their whole last wave thing of making toys impossible to find. Because I got this guy off BBTS, and unfortunately, like the day after I had him ship was whenever Pipes came in, so I don't have Pipes yet. I have Puffer, but I don't have Pipes. Puffer's great too. Get Pipes. He deserves it. But yeah, that was number 11, I believe. Yep, number 11. We're not losing count, boys. And so now we have made it to the top 10, with number 10 being Shatterglass Megatron. Now, of course, something from this subline was going to make it onto this list. I just didn't expect... I mean, I pretty much knew it was going to be Megatron, because Starscream didn't come out. That's the joke for these two videos, isn't it? Just rag on Hasbro over Starscream. But... like, I wasn't expecting to be top 10, honestly, just because I'm not super big into the Siege mold, but I remember whenever I got this figure, I sold off all my other versions of the Siege mold, because, like, this is the one. This is the one that works for me. I really, really like it. And, of course, I got the upgrade kit with the cannons. So let me actually zoom up just a little bit more. So you can see them. They're pretty nice. They articulate up and down. If they're on a 5mm thing, they can move. They can move side to side. And then, of course, I have the custom head as well. But I really like the way this thing looks. I like the blue cannon. I like this whole sword shield combo. The Energon Megatron wings we got going on back here. And just all the options. Like, you can take the wings and plug them in the other way and extend them out to be even bigger wings. The fact that this is like a triple changer now, just because he has like the jet mode and the tank mode, just, it does a lot. They took the mold, added 3 pieces to it, and made it somehow way better than any other version of the mold for me. So yeah, while like a lot of people do wish it was Galvatron, I honestly don't mind that they did it like this. I feel like this was probably the best possible outcome since Galvatron. I don't think they could add 3 parts to and make it into a jet. Trust me, I tried a little bit here and there. I actually took the wings from this thing and tried to see if I could figure out a jet mode, and just nothing came up. I don't know if anyone else figured it out, but I couldn't do it. But yeah, this is if you decide to get one from the Shatterglass subline that came out this year, because I will probably like Starscream more, Megatron's the way to go. Especially if you just want to get one version of Siege Megs, I think this is the best one to go. Even with the original head, it's really nice. But yeah. And for number 9, I'm going to bring the camera down just a wee bit. And for number 9, we have New Age Shatterglass Thundercracker. Or Action Master Thundercracker, but you know, he's Shatterglass Thundercracker here. Now, you know, initially he wasn't actually going to be on the list. Fun fact, he was a late addition. Until I told the Dr. Lockdown review. Because, you know, he does the Legendary Marathon every year in December, which this is the first year I've actually got to watch it, like, live, which has been pretty fun. But, I just remembered how really good this figure was. Like, it's probably, like, of all the New Age stuff, it's just the one that I've really enjoyed the most. Like, it's the one I can just, like, grab and transform, like, fairly easily. Like, it's complicated, but it's simple all at once. In terms of the G1 Seeker, this is still, like, my favorite one ever. Like, out of anyone, like MP, Chug, third party, whatever, this is my favorite G1 Seeker mold. And if I didn't limit myself to just like the Shatterglass Legends, I'd probably have every freaking version of this thing. But this is probably the only one I'm gonna buy, because I don't want Shatterglass Starscream to be the G1 body. I might buy a Skywarp though, because they had like the image of it in issue 2 of the Shattered Glass comic, it didn't look too bad. I'd consider it. I would slightly consider it, not gonna lie. New Age. You know, you could do that. You made a Shockwave and a Devastator, and like you haven't given me them Shattered Glass repaints yet. But you can't. You already gave me Beachcomber and Mirage. Kind of waiting, you know. But yeah, if you were to get any of the third-party Legends toys that came out this year, especially from New Age, this is the one to go with. I really like him. He's really worth it. There's a billion of these things. Like I mentioned New Age repaints earlier, but mix their insanity of repaints with Seeker repaints, and your favorite's probably already been done. Like 3 years ago. I don't know when this thing came out. But yeah, I think even today, like as of this recording, they showed images of like a newer Starscream, so they're doing another Starscream. So yeah, like just pick a Seeker, pick your favorite, grab one, it's worth getting. And for number 8, we have Fans Project once again. Constructo Corps. Let me zoom up a little bit. What's funny is that if I remember correctly, last year is when I got Steel Corps, and Steel Corps was on the list. I don't remember where he was on the list, but I know he was here, and so I got this one this year. I believe it's because like I didn't get it on sale, but I got it from someone online for I think like $65, and I just love this. Like it was missing the weapon, like the gun. Unfortunately, like it had the regular Steel Corps one, but not like the Constructo Corps one. I think it was supposed to have like one of the core bots, but I don't honestly mind. I just think this is great. Just like all the weathering paint, like the bullet holes painted in, like all the scrapes, and like these new like shovel pieces that are just really freaking fun. They just give it it just gives it a completely different vibe. And then this, I love the little welding tool. I think I even made an edit of this on my Instagram page. Just like him using the welding tool, like the cable. It's just fun fact. I was trying to get him off the shelf, and the cable accidentally got hooked onto another figure, and that was fun. But yeah, just I really love this version. I don't know if I could really rank which version of this mold to get. Just get one. Like they made one that's basically Grimlock if you want a named character, but I much prefer it not being based on a named character, just because this design isn't meant to be. Like, it just has the general Warbotron aesthetic of what they had at the time, and they made something unique, and that's what I will forever appreciate about this, just any version of this mold's release. And while, again, I do like the Grimlock, it kind of takes away from that message a little bit. But, I mean, if I can get it for $60, I'd probably still get the Grimlock. I'm not going to, who knows? Maybe I'll find it for cheap next year, and it'll be on the list for 2022, and this mold will show up 3 years in a row. I wouldn't doubt it. It's that good. It's good enough to show up 3 years in a row. We're talking about this thing like a decade after it came out, and it's still here. It's just good. It's just so good. If you can get one, if you can just get any version of this for about 80 or less, do it. It's worth it. Here, I think BBTS or TF Source still has this guy, so might be worth a look. And for number 7, we have the most expensive thing that I have probably ever bought that is Transformers related. The BotCon Stunticon job set, which I'm gonna get them all in frame because I don't have 5 hands to slam down 5 figures at once. Because that would be weird. Let me see if I can get them all in. Come on. But yeah, at TFCon, I actually ended up picking these guys up because someone had the whole box set, and I even talked them down $100 off of it, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, I really like having this team. I think they're pretty fun. I love all the recolors and some of them with the new heads, even like Jazz, where it's like, I don't think it's a new head. I'm pretty sure it's just the paint doing all the work, but it's working. And then my friend, we were sitting there at the table that nearly broke Motormaster's waist joint. He is never allowed to touch Motormaster again. I know you're watching. You can't. You're not allowed. But just, man, not to bring it a bit of a downer, we're just hearing about Derek J. Wyatt's passing. It's just very unfortunate. Animated's like my favorite show, and it was just really fun to get these and a couple other animated things here and there that just aren't on the list. And just kind of just a big shame, you know? Anyways, getting these guys out of here. I'm moving a convoy. There's so many of them. And I have so little table space. Anyways, number 6 on the list is something, is like, I think one of those last things, actually, now that I rephrase it, there's several other things on this that are like big things I've always really wanted. But this one is the music label Soundwave, or at least the like technically Shattered Glass colored version, though the Shattered Glass one was inspired by this. And this is a figure that I have really wanted for a very long time. Like, I've had the original music label Soundwave and I really liked it, but I really wanted this version just because, you know, it inspired, let me actually move the camera a little bit, it inspired my Shattered Glass version, so of course I want this one. And I even like painted the visor green, because it was red, but I painted it green just to be the proper colors. And this is just a really satisfying figure. Like, I haven't tried the whole MP3 thing yet, but if anyone doesn't know what this is, it is a Soundwave that turns into a working MP3, which is just really cool in itself. But yeah, just the colors aren't the best, like, you know, they are fairly basic, because I believe this is just trying to be like the Apple, like an Apple styled iPhone colors, or just a typical MP3 at the time. But just, it's really nice. I like it. I think it just looks really neat. The transformation, it's very simple but very fun. I'm really impressed even by like the articulation this thing has. Like, it doesn't really have a waist swivel or ankles, but I mean, it has basically everything else you could overly want. It's just a very fun boy. I wish we could get like a newer one. Like, that'd be fun. Like, instead of doing that weird tablet thing, they just made a new music label Soundwave. That would have been neat. Yeah, like, he still poses okay. The hips are a little odd, but I mean, I like how it looks. I especially just like it in the other mode. It's just a white block, but I don't care. It's fun. It's neat. It's very different. I think that's what I appreciate about it, just how weirdly different the whole thing is. And now to move the camera very much up. I guess slight spoilers for what this is. I don't know. It's a big one. We got number 5. The second most expensive Transformers related thing I've bought. So they both came from this year, I guess. Unite Warriors Baldigus, or 2001 RAD Ruination. If he'll stand. Please stand. Please stand. Okay. Please stand. Don't fall apart. What are you doing? The upgrades, they're too much. Come on. Come on. Come on, stand. Come on, stand. Come on, stand. Don't. I can't lean him on the back, because if I do, I think the back would collapse. He is refusing. I have a love-hate relationship with this upgrade kit for the reasons you are seeing now. Come on. Can I get him to stand in any pose? Just any at this point. I'm desperate. Come on. Stand! No? Okay. You're not gonna stand up for me. Wait. He's standing. There we go. He's standing. It's good enough. This pose is weird, but it's fine. It works. You get to see the blueness of the rest of this background. It's all a sham. It's all a lie. It's just poster board. But anyways, this is another one of those things I've really wanted, just because I like the Combaticons and RAD01. Just RAD01 I think is pretty fun. It's not my favorite Transformers thing by any means, but like, I do find it pretty enjoyable. I wish we got this set from Hasbro instead of it being a Unite Warriors thing that costs $300 frickin' for some reason. But I even got the upgrades, which is nice, though as you could tell, it definitely has its drawbacks, like not being able to stand. But I do think it looks really cool. I really like it. I have thought about like using the regular hands and feet, just because I think they're a bit more stable. But this is also the one that gives like Mega Octane, the new like hip joints in there, which I'm kind of iffy on. But I do think it looks great overall. It's a great display piece too. And it's just fun. I have fun messing with the guys. Especially seeing the Vortex with like having 4 blades. I don't have the Unite Warriors Vortex. It's very different. It's a very different feeling. Let me just... I don't get it. He stood up just fine when I put him on the table. But putting him on this one, he just didn't. He's just going to lay down. He's going to take a nap. He's napping. We napping. Which actually, before I bring the next thing, let me bring the camera back down to earth, please. Oh, there we go. And for number 4, we have Transart Cheetor. Okay, to bring the camera down even more. Now, Kingdom has been a thing this year, and like the Beast Wars stuff is back. But personally, I've always really loved the Transmetal designs. And so this company, Transart, started making them, I think, last year. And they made like the Optimus Primal. And while that figure was alright, it was a bit more like upscaled and tweaked KO. Like it had that feeling to it, which isn't bad. But compared to this, it's oof. This thing is great. Like I love this thing. Like it has these joints here, like moving side to side. And these little ribs move too. Proper ab crunch. These can come undone, but they are pretty easy to just kind of pop back in. So you can't move it back too far, or these will fall down. Get back in there. Get back in there. I'm trying to praise you. Don't be doing this. The fact that this is all die-cast metal down here, like these, like all of this, even the feet are die-cast. It just feels really nice. These feet are also die-cast, which is cool. The tail here is like actually a whip, like it's a bendy wire. You can just plug this off if you want. It's just really neat. He can do the thing, like the two-handed thing. He can do it. It's just like they didn't only take the figure and tweak it, but they basically made it MP quality, and I absolutely adore that. I also got that Ravage, and while it is pretty good, it's just like, the beast mode is actually nothing. It's kind of laughably bad. Just because he didn't really have a beast mode in the show, so I'm not overly mad at it. Like the PulseCon one is definitely better. I just don't have a need for it. But even the things like, even the face is just, let me get the camera up just a wee bit. There we go. Even the face sculpt is just so much better. Just very, like even better than like the original Primal. Like I wish they'd redo their Primal, but with like these quality materials. That's just what I want. Come on, Transart. You're definitely watching this video. Transart's totally here. They paid me to say this, please. I'm being held by gunpoint. But just, I really like this thing. The only major flaw of this is the fact that these don't lock in for beast mode. So the beast mode is really, really, really hard to stand. That is the only flaw in this, and probably the only reason it's in number 4 and not like number 2. Because it would definitely be slightly higher up if that one issue was not there. Because it is literally the only flaw this toy has, in my personal opinion, or the only major one. Everything else is just kind of like, I can get over it. And moving the camera back down a little bit. We are in the top 3, with number 3 surprisingly being Kingdom Airazor. Now, I think I remember last year mentioning how the stuff that came out, I didn't really like Super Megatron was just kind of like my favorite thing last year, sort of by default. He's like the one thing I really overly enjoyed that Hasbro made, even in Studio Series. Like I still liked Studio Series, but it wasn't hitting. Kingdom, at least waves 1 and 2 for the Beast really hit. Like Primal is really good, but I got him last year after I made the list, so it was too late to put him on, but he would be on one of these lists if he could be. Like Primal was really good, Megatron was alright. Like Black Arachnia was good, just the colors were kind of eh. But like just kind of as the line went on, it just sort of mellowed out to me. But then Tigertron was pretty good, and then wave 5 I have Slammer and I have like Puffer, like the Puffer mold. So I have that, and then and then Blaster looks really good. So we're at least ending Kingdom on a bit of a high note. But Airazor to me is just like, this is the example of how to do a fembot and do them right. She still has that slender sort of aesthetic, and there is still a backpack, but it's not nearly as egregious or bad. Because it feels like since, like, frickin' Power of the Primes, every fembot is either, like, carrying their alt mode on their back, or is doing that, but now the alt mode comes off, and there's literally no transformation to it whatsoever. And it's just lame. But then, like, Kingdom came around with, like, Black Arachne and Airazor, and honestly had the best fembots in Generations. Or at least Airazor, to me, is the best Generations fembot toy ever made. Sorry, Thrilling 30 RC, you've been dethroned. And I guess Power of the Prime Slash, because I really like that one. But yeah, just, like, I talked about her in a review, like, really early this year, but just, like, I love the things, like, the wings, how they just flail out. And they're, like, super articulated. I just think it's really nice. This figure is really good. If you can get one version of this mold, just get one. I have a Skywarp too, and he's pretty good. But just get one. Just even if you're not a Beast Wars fan, try it out. See what you think. It's a really, really good toy. Cannot recommend it enough. If you skip everything else in Kingdom, and I mean every other toy in that line, get Airazor. Let her be the one toy you have from the line, because it is a toy worth having. And anyways, number 2, we have Mastermind Creations, Rung. The boy, we finally got him after he was teased, I think, like a year or two ago. And just like, I remember at TFCon when I was going to get him, I was like running around the frickin' the dealer room for a solid 3 minutes trying to find the table he was being sold at, until I found the line. I just ran to it. And just, man, he was worth that rummaging around for a few minutes. But just, I just love how much character is in this. The materials feel great. The sculpted detail, while some areas like this is fairly lacking, like, I think there's enough here for me. Because it is like a comic book design, and, like, I guess he isn't, plus he's he turns into like a thing. He's not really like a combatant. He's not like this big hulking guy or even a slim sneaky guy. But like, I really like all the options, like with all the alternate hands. Like, I just have these on him because I don't know. I like him with these. He can be chatting it up. He can be like, hey man, you know, maybe we shouldn't use me as a human shield. That would be great. And then he's used as one anyway. But I mean, he's just a really nice figure. My only real issue with him, as you can tell, is the lack of being able to stand. Is that just like is that just a theme? Is that a theme with this video, or is it a theme with the stuff I bought this year? Because like New Age stuff, so a lot of it I have issues with the lack of heals. We have this thing, we have Ball Together. I don't know. Lacking heals, I guess, is just the new theme. Yeah, I know this guy is harder to get, but if you can get him, I'd say it is definitely worth it. You get a lot of stuff that I do not feel like pulling out with him. You get like 8 or 9 alternate faces, a bunch of alternate hands. I'd say I'd say like, other than the heals, just the lack of heals, the hands, I'd be careful taking them on and off, just out of fear of like stressing them, or since they are like a more soft plastic. But yeah, this guy, you definitely need him to complete that More Enemies the Eye collection. And he is small enough to kind of scale it to like chug stuff. Let me just bring back in Airazor here for a second. You can kind of see like he's pretty much like a small Voyager size. He's probably like the same height as SS86 Hot Rod, maybe. Maybe. I don't have him on me to try it out, but that's just a guess. But yeah, Airazor fell over there. He is definitely worth your time. He's very fun. And now, before number 1, I'm gonna say some honorable mentions. I didn't really prepare these. These are all off the top of my head. For one, the Kingdom Arc. I really like that. I got it for Christmas, and it's actually sitting here in ship mode, like next to me. And it's pretty fun. I do like it. Hunt for Decepticons Payload. That's one I got. Not at TFCon, but I got it that week, and I really like it. And yeah, that's it. No more honorable mentions. Those are the only ones that come to mind. And so, bringing the camera up one last time, maybe, unless I got it too high or not high enough for this. My number 1 purchase of the year, DX9 Carry, and I was too short. Let me get this up slightly more. So, Kingdom Rodimus happened this year. I don't really like it. I think the base mold of like the figure is pretty great, but for me, the trailer is an absolute joke. It doesn't meld well in any way, either aesthetically or functionally, with Rodimus. And then for some reason on my copy, nearly every bit of paint on it was bad. Either not enough was applied, too much was applied, it was applied sloppily. There was even a bubble on my Kingdom Rodimus on the collar. There was like a bubble of paint there, like right there, and I had to strip all the paint off of that area and then like repaint it myself. Like it was just not. It was just bad. Like it kind of reminded me of Earthrise Optimus in the sense of forcing it to be like the next scale kind of caused like some weird paint mishaps. Like the entire chest being painted. It's like molded in red, but it's all like painted orange in the flames and everything. I think it's just not it. But this figure is everything I wanted from a Rodimus. And I still remember being back in like 9th grade when this thing was first like shown online. Like we got like the prototype images of it, and I just really wanted it, but I never got it. Just because I was in 9th grade. You think I could afford third party then? What was I doing? I was doing the math homework. But just I found him at TFCon. He didn't have the box and the gun. He has the gun, but the gun's missing little fins, but I don't care. It was like $120. But I love it. I love it so much. I love just transforming it. I love having a Rodimus. That's how I want a Rodimus, which is no hot rod middleman, no trailer nonsense, just he's a robot that turns into his vehicle. It's not trying to be Optimus Prime with flames. Not the movie one. You know what I mean? I just love it. I love it so much. Like I really wish that like they could just take this design, like tweak it to be chug scaled. Like Kingdom Rodimus would be out of my house right when that's announced. He'd be gone. He wouldn't exist. But yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I'm filming this segment after I filmed the other two, so I don't really have them around to like put around him like I did in the custom video. So I'm just gonna grab the couple I just used, or a few of them. We'll have you. Let's get Soundwave in here if I can get them reposed. Put you here. We'll just have these guys. They're just hanging out. They're trying to hang out. Dead End is being as depressed as normal. It's like, what's the point of hanging out? We're all gonna be hanged anyways. But yeah, just solid collecting year. I did some fun stuff. I went to TFCon and met one of my friends who was actually the same friend that both nearly destroyed Motormaster's waist joint and actually helped me get this guy. So I know you're watching. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you. And just he had to watch me do all my ungodly spending at TFCon. Man. Yeah, just this collecting year I really enjoyed. I actually don't think I did too much with like Shattered Glass, honestly, which is kind of surprising for me. Like I bought a few here and there. It was mostly the New Age stuff and like the Legend scale. Like that's where I really thrived this year. I'd say peak Shattered Glass purchases was this. I don't think really like anything else was super big. I don't know. I got Scourge. It's cool. I got the sweep. But yeah. Well, this is the last video where anyone's going to hear my voice for 2021. I do want to once again say thanks you guys. I really appreciate you guys watching this absolute nonsense. I do have some plans for next year. I have a couple new fun things I plan on doing. Some of it custom related, some of it review related. We'll see what I can get to. We'll see where it goes. It all depends on the time I have and college. Because college really gets in the way of this at times. But yeah. Anyways, that is pretty much all I have to say. So be sure to check out my channel for more video and custom reviews, and please don't forget to subscribe. You can also come check out my Facebook or Tumblr pages, links in the description below. You can also come join the Infinison Discord server, also linked in the description below. And this is the 14th Prime, signing out.